Okay, can we just talk about the Goodwill prices? So yesterday, I was doing a Kroger run looking for sales on meat, and I was just sticking to about 20 minutes around my house. I have several Krogers and several Goodwills. And so as a result, I did stop into several Goodwills, I think almost 4 of them. I like the hunt. I like just looking around to see, sometimes you find some really neat older things that you're never going to find in a regular store, you know. So I thought, you know what? I need to get my steps in. It's really, really hot. I live in Houston, so I'm just going to go to some Goodwills as I'm going along to the Kroger's and get in my steps. And guys, I could not believe the prices. I just could not believe the prices. I mean, shoes. Somebody's old used shoes, $9 to $15. I used to be able to go to Ross and buy a new pair of shoes for that price. And I was like, I am not spending this kind of money. And, and just everything. I mean, like somebody's old decor, $8, $9, $10. What? And then I was like, well, how much are the clothes? And they were ranging in price. They used to be like one set price, I think like $5 or something, $4.99 maybe, $5.99. They weren't just a few bucks. Clothes can be anywhere from like $3 upwards of like $12 or $15. I was like, seriously? And to top it off, now they have, in Houston at least, I don't know about everywhere, but they have closed down the dressing rooms. And I'm upset about that, because I don't want to buy a bunch of things that I don't know if it's going to fit me. I usually will try on a few things and maybe only 2 or 3 of those things will even work. I don't want to have to make another trip. Gas is a fortune. I don't want to have to make another trip back in there to return stuff and then you don't even get your money back. You get store credit. Okay. Yeah, and it just seems terrible because ultimately the things that they are selling they got for free because people donated those. And I understand, they're probably dealing with a lot of people shoplifting. That's probably why they're doing it, but it just seems really, really excessive to me. So anyway, if I can't try something on in the store, I'm not going to buy it. I tried to slip them on over my head just to kind of get an idea. Is it going to be long enough? Is it going to be wide enough? And then I made a decision. So I did find some really awesome things while I was there, and we'll get to that later on in the video. But first, let's talk about these prices. So anyway, I was really irritated with, I had set out to have get in my steps and maybe have a nice day, and I just got irritated. So I thought, you know what? I'm not sure Goodwill is even a good value for my money. I got irritated and I went across the street to one of my favorite department stores that often runs some really good sales. And I walked in and I was like, wow, their clearance section is like, it's full and it's still full of winter stuff. And I was like, honestly, I was surprised because usually that gets picked over pretty quick. So I walked back there. I did my rounds around the store, just looked around. And when I got back there, there was one winter item that I did really like. $30. $30 on clearance. Okay, well, for that kind of money, it's going to stay right where it's at. I'm not spending that. I have more than enough clothes. In fact, I made a goal this year, 2026, that I wasn't going to buy any more clothes or any more shoes because I really don't need them. I was just out, I was just curious because I was at Goodwill and I was like, well, dang, the stuff is so expensive. What does it cost to get it new? So I went across there only out of curiosity. And I was floored because it has been a long time since I have been clothing shopping. A really long time. I have really not shopped for any clothes, any shoes in a very long time. So I was just blown away. So I'm like, well, maybe that's actually not a bad deal then at Goodwill, as bad as that sounds. So yeah, anyway, my mind was just at the prices. And then they had t-shirts because I wear t-shirts like I wear t-shirts all the time. So I'll usually look and see if they have anything, say less than $10, $10 or less. No, guys, they're special, $20. $20 for a t-shirt on sale. So needless to say, all of that just stayed on the shelf. I am not paying that for t-shirts and for clearance down winter stuff. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And so I promised you at the beginning of this video, I did find some really awesome finds at the Goodwills, but I really had to look, and I only left with a couple of items. I shopped multiple Goodwills, like 4 Goodwills, and I found 3 things that were worth my time. So the first thing that I found was actually something that I don't buy very often secondhand, and that is shoes. I'm a little funny about used shoes, but I found these, and because they are made out of that rubbery material, I was able to clean these to my satisfaction. And these are so comfortable. They are Reef brand. I had a pair of flip-flops years ago that I bought from Ross for like, I don't know, $7 or something like that. They were so comfortable. I wore those things out. And then I looked for another pair and they're like pretty expensive. So I didn't buy another pair. But anyhow, I know that Reef is a very good brand. I love their shoes. And these are like full-on sandals. I wore these yesterday. So I cleaned these. I scrubbed these down very, very well with disinfectant and all that to get these very clean. They were spotless, top and bottom, but I wore them yesterday. And so they do have some spots on them now. But they are so, so, so comfortable and like literally brand new. These retail for $80 to $85. It's a brand that I know I love. And unfortunately, I have, this pair of sandals and this pair of sandals that have seen better days. I'm still wearing them, but I do anticipate that I'm only going to be wearing that this year. It will probably be time for them to go after this summer, because I wear sandals all the time. I even wear sandals almost all the way up to winter because we're in Houston. It's hot. You know, winter most of the time we're 60, 70 degrees. So I will often wear sandals almost all year long. So I kind of thought, you know what? I do have 2 pairs of sandals that are on their way out. This is a great, great deal. And I can clean these to my satisfaction. So I purchased these. The other thing that I found was this. It's Honors brand. Honors brand. It is a vintage brand. And this is mostly cotton. This nighty. The nighty. It's just a typical nighty, which is a mostly cotton nighty, and it's hardly been worn. It's in great condition. It looks like it's practically never been worn. The material is very high quality feeling. And I got this for $2.99. And one of my other favorite nighties, which is actually right here, I got this one. It just has the nicest like neckline. I really like this one. And if it is clean, I will reach for it every single time over anything else. And I liked this one just as much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy this. $2.99, a great nighty that's in very nice condition. Perfect condition, actually. And very good quality cloth. If you can find vintage clothes, a lot of times vintage clothing can be really, really high end or very, very good quality, you know, as opposed to the fast fashion that is just everywhere now, the cheap quality. Even if you go to expensive stores, you've got polyester, you've got poor quality clothing that's just, it's not going to last. And it's also not very skin friendly. So if you can find the vintage clothing from Goodwills or other thrift stores, that is an awesome buy. So I went ahead and I got it. And finally, I feel a little bit ashamed for this because honestly, it was, how much was it? It was $4.99, which I thought is kind of expensive for a used shirt, but it's from Old Navy. And the thing about this is, one thing, I like this with my skin tone. I like the way this looks on me. And it is longer. It has a very long length. It's hard for me to find longer length shirts, and that's what I prefer, almost like a tunic top. So this one goes, you know, this one is quite long. And so honestly, I prefer shirts to be kind of more like tunic tops, a little bit longer in length. And this one was. So I thought, you know what? It was in great shape, so I went ahead and I picked it up. Yeah, so that is my Goodwill haul. I was very disappointed in the dressing room changes. I think that it is terrible considering that these things were all donated for free of charge, and even stores that have more overhead do not take away the dressing rooms. You know, I just think that if you're in business selling clothes, the dressing rooms, it's part of it, you know? And so I don't know. I don't know what to say. Times are tough. People are crazy. I guess there's too much shoplifting. That must be why they did it. But I'm not a fan. I will not buy any more pants. I will definitely not buy any pants from Goodwill anymore, because I do not buy things that I can't try on. And the only thing that I will buy is shirts that I can slip over or just kind of see how they fit, roughly speaking, before I buy. Because I am not going to be doing a return haul to Goodwill. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of gas. No, thank you. Also, pretty disappointed in prices. But then again, when I checked regular retail, I was also like blown away by the increase in prices. So I guess I don't, I guess I can't say too much about that. From a price standpoint, I was still able to find some really good buys. I got these for $11. These retail for $80 to $85. To be real honest, I don't know how much a t-shirt costs from Goodwill anymore, but I think, I didn't do bad on this one for $4.99. And I know that I got an awesome deal on this like practically brand new nighty that I'm going to wear. I'm going to wear this so much. $2.99. Vintage, high quality cotton cloth. All right, guys. Good luck. Times are tough. Things are getting crazy expensive. I'm just out here like the rest of y'all. I just thought I'd let you know what I saw. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up so that you can see more from me. And also so that other people like you can find my video content. On my channel, I discuss all things healthy, practical lifestyle, including food, budgeting, and other topics pertaining to healthy, holistic living. So if that kind of content interests you, please make sure you subscribe so that you can see upcoming videos as they're released. And also, please check out my other videos. I am going to put my 2026 No Buy Challenge right here, as well as a second video, sequel to this video, which is how to deal with items that I am decluttering in the future, how I plan to deal with those, make money back on those, or at least donate them directly to people who need it, try to do more good with the things that I'm giving up. Because honestly, I'm not sure that I'm going to donate it anymore to thrift stores. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.